Oh, homosexuals. Let's see if I can wrap my head around this one. It was different today. I mentioned last week I had the little idea, the little game theory that I was going to attempt doing my heavy squat and benches before my Olympic lifts on the day that I chose to go heavy with them so that I can isolate their strength. This, as an idea, a fun little theory, just a little game theory, was it in theory works. Correct. Most people would benefit from that kind of thing. A lot of times when you go through your own kind of training and you've been doing it for so long, so many years, so much consistency, experience, discipline, the passion, whatever you want to call it, you realize that your own way of training is unlike anyone other than yourself. It's never going to really line up with anyone else because you've spent so long training a certain way to match your specific body and its specific needs according to its level of fatigue so that you can overcome that at an efficient rate, And, oh man, doing squats today first, I think actually made me weaker in my squats. I know that I'm just coming off of being sick and all that, but having a day as good as I did yesterday, as locked in as I was, compared to today where I'm super burned out, I get can happen, sure. But that's not typical for my training, for what my experiences dictate. And really went to show how much doing a heavy static lift affected me so much more than the dynamic lift when it came to what happened first. Because what I'm realizing is when I do an Olympic lift first, it simultaneously allows me to put more effort and mobility and core strength into the lift that requires more mobility and core strength, while also priming and warming me up for the static lift that needs those higher levels of muscle tension, Because whenever you do a lift like the squat or the bench, your main muscle groups reach a level of your muscle fibers reach a level of how stretched they are, how much work they've put in, to where by the time you get on the Olympic lift after, you're already fully stretched out and ripped apart, and it feels like you can't do anything. It's hard to lock in your form and your core whatsoever. So that was a little bit of the experience today, but I am proud to say that I put in some great effort. I did lock it in, and it's going to, you got to really walk away with the mindset sometimes that any experience can be a progressive defeat, if that makes sense. It's reminding yourself that no matter what you think you failed at, it just leaves more room for you to succeed in the future. And what you further realize what your goals could mean in the long term. So getting on the back squat, it was immediately just, I haven't done back squat first in God knows how many years. And it just was not locking in. I don't think it felt really that decent until I hit 385, because then I was like really starting to mentally get in tune, and the adrenaline was taking over just a little bit, and muscle fatigue was going away. So it was mainly just my low back. My low back just was not primed enough to do that first right out the gate, But got up to my top weight, and it felt good. And I was going to go to 415 because the other week on the normal program that I was doing before, I did 415 for a 3x4. That dictates, to me at least, that I can for sure do one set of 6. Pretty, it's going to be really tough and a pretty hard grind out by the end of it, but it's going to be confident. That's what I'm always looking for in a heavy top set kind of weight. That confidence, no doubt of success in that moment when you finally hit that last rep and you're just like, okay, I got this shit. But by the time I got up to the mid weights, I was like, okay, I can either push it as hard as I can and go to the weight that I know that I can hit if I'm better primed, and then make my fatigue stack up quicker, or I can just play it smart and just spend this next couple weeks of training going a little bit slower and just accepting it for what it is. So I just was, it's not everything that I imagined and what I wanted it to be, but I decided to put it at 405 instead of 415. It's not a big difference, but it's a difference enough that makes me be like, damn, that is unfortunate, but you can't you can't let the shoulda, woulda, couldas take over. You got to just live with what your body's capable of and be like, you know what, I did my best. And I really did get better primed today. And you also don't know what would have happened if I had done the squat second. Of course, the idea and the probability is that it would have been better because that's what I'm used to training with. But who knows? Maybe I could have been less primed than I thought I would from my sickness last week, and just it could have gone so much worse. Maybe I couldn't have even hit 4 plates, and that would have really messed me up in the progression I wanted to see. So the numbers are always going to be an accessory of my own lifting, and I'm going to be passionate about whatever I'm doing in that moment for sure. But, I don't like taking steps back when it feels like I didn't need to, even if they're going to be positive in the long run. Took a good 15-minute break after that one. My low back was pretty burnt out. Core was driven pretty hard. But it was a confidence set, and I will say that if my low back was with me today, the way it normally is, for sure 415 is there. So that idea and that mind muscle connection is at least something that will get me to grow even faster next time. What do I really want to focus on? I got onto the clean and jerk complex today. Today I decided to do something a little different. I had the idea originally that I was going to come in, do a hang power clean, do a split jerk, and then a push jerk. Cool. After those squats, I was like, my low back is so burnt out. There is no way I'm doing 2 overhead movements today, And the idea that I want to do is, I know I'm only doing one top single rep technically with these complexes, but I'm adding enough of variety to the complex itself to where it makes up for that volume that I would have had doing a top triple. You know what I'm saying? So today, it was the power hang clean, and then instead of doing the split jerk today, I just wanted to see what the push jerk felt like, because it's been at least a year since I've tried that out, maybe more. And I've always struggled a lot with that because I have big, massive boulder shoulders that get in the way, and it's really hard to push my arms back where they need to. But again, doing that kind of work is going to be beneficial because it'll make my balance line up better on the split jerk, and it'll allow me to stop relying so much on my front foot taking all that weight and dividing the balance without my back foot having as much of a say. That back foot should be used pretty decently when you get heavy on a split jerk, but I learned something new every time. And so I decided to just put a pause in the dip before I drove the push jerk back up and just did no split jerk. That was different. If you really want to test your balance and where your form's at when it comes to a split jerk, put a pause in the bottom of the dip. That'll really mess you up. And I know today I wasn't as proud as I wanted to be walking away from it, but you got to really remind yourself sometimes of where you come from. And I easily spent the first 3 years that I did clean and jerks, because I was never coached, and I didn't care enough to learn new technique back when I started, where every single split jerk rep, it was just 95% of the weight on my front foot, didn't care, did not make it better. And if I had tried to do a push jerk back in that day, I would not have been able to do any more than the bar, because it would have gone forward every single time because my balance was on my toes. And so even though the lockouts weren't great, because it's a different kind of movement, it's not the same timing as a split jerk. It's just that little half a second that'll throw you off. And I don't think I had legitimate elbow bends on my top set. It just was so quick and so sporadic that I'm not used to getting that perfect, my feet touch the ground and my elbows lock at the exact same time kind of feeling that I have on the split jerk. And again, the pause is going to make my core suffer, and it's hard to get the most even drive back up that I can. But I am very decently happy, and the power cleans were actually very good. So you got to walk away with those positives no matter what you do. So again, even if it could have been better if I did them first, or squats could have been better if I did them second, who cares? I put in great effort. I learned from it. It's going to make me better. And because it was more difficult, or at least I think it was, it'll actually prime me a little bit better because I went at the weights that my body was capable of doing today, instead of overdoing it and throwing stuff that would have injured me or led to a higher level of fatigue buildup. Anyway, physically, I'm going to give it just a flat 8.5. It was a great day. Don't get me wrong. It did feel good. and it was fluent, and 405 moving for 6, that was my old rep max when my knee exploded. You know, I was dying trying to get that weight. And it's great to see that it's actually a very confident weight now, and it flies, and I don't have to really think about it, and there's more in the tank. So that's definitely something to brag home about. And again, the form of my power clean and jerk complex was good, and you know, it was better than I've been able to do before. But you know, those little cracks in the seams of my form and my core are what make me so passionate and want to get back in there right now and redo it all over again so that I can see what I can work on next time. Mentally, we are going to give it a pretty solid 8.7. It's pretty good. Just over the physical. I don't have much else to add than I've been feeling. I've just been doing great. You know, it's work's been good. Everything, you know, I'm meeting more homies. It's always great to get people down at the house. It's you really got to make sure you make time for yourself to enjoy the presence of other people that will actually get you talking as much as you can. You know, I always, you know, I appreciate you guys hearing me yap whenever I go off so hard in these videos, or whenever I'm at the gym and I stay for an extra hour because I just can't stop talking. A lot of people will apologize, and a lot of people will think that it's burdening their schedule, but like, man, take that little bit of time, dude. That's pure passion. That's pure love right there. You know, you got to be able to express those emotions that get you the most excited with other people to get you twice as motivated to get back into whatever you're doing. You know, I same thing with what I was doing today. I wasn't the most proud, and I had second thoughts and doubts in the moment. But man, I had a great environment today, and I've been putting myself in that good environment to make sure that regardless of what day I have, I can turn it into a day that is positive, relevant to me, rather than relevant to the numbers that I'm lifting that don't actually really matter for what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I'm trying to love the weights and love lifting. Because it makes me so sad when I hear people say, like, why lift at all if people aren't going to see my numbers? And I'm like, so you're not even lifting for yourself, man. Like, why are you in here if you're not going to at least just do it for the sake of your own positivity and your own well-being, you know, your own motivations and passions? You know? But like when I was doing especially on my top set at the end of the complexes, it was pretty redeeming because I had some good homies around. I wasn't like really shooting the shit all that much. You know, I got to go to work pretty soon, so I was just kind of doing the motions, going at my own pace. And I look over after I drop the weight. I'm like, I know that my elbows may have been a little shaky, or may have just been a bit difficult to catch the weight the way I wanted to. And I look over and I got both earbuds in. I can't hear shit. I pull one earbud out. Everybody's clapping. Oh man, that gets me so excited. They're just supporting me, you know. Not like it was a crazy max out, not that it was a crazy whatever, especially to me, for what I'm experienced with and what I expect myself to be able to do on a maximum all-time new effort kind of day. But they didn't care, you know. They're just people trying to give me a raw, unfiltered sense of positivity so that I can walk away and go home happy and appreciate what I'm doing even more, you know. I'm not doing the heavy numbers or the wacky lifts for the sake of other people, but man, when I get that no expectation, no obligation, just straight up love and appreciation from some people that I care about, that care about me, that I honestly don't even really know all that well compared to my favorite people, or not my favorite, but you know, the people that I know the most, it's great. It really, I feel like it goes to show how much you may have grown yourself personally when you've got those kinds of people that you don't really know them well. You never hang out with them outside of wherever you see them when it comes to work or gym, but you show up and they just yell at you. They get you going, you know, and I love that. And those are the kinds of people that are going to be coming back to my house for homie nights. Damn it. Anyway, I got to get going. I got work. I appreciate y'all hearing me out. You know, I love yapping. But let me know how the lives and lifts have been going. I love hearing about it. And either way, I'm glad to be here. You know, that's all it is. But enjoy yourselves. Keep doing what you're doing. And I will be back tomorrow for a pause snatch complex followed by a bench press complex, or more so a variation. But you'll see it. Same passion, same big old lifts, big old boy heart, and we're gonna just do our best. Love you guys. See you later. Bye.